Hello everybody, and welcome to part 4 of our application design tutorial. Today we are going to be working on the center portion of our Pixel for Life application. I have a slight idea of what I'm going after, and it's going to be kind of modeled after the Sparrow Mail application. So if you've seen that, you know how beautiful it looks. If you haven't, you should check it out. It's great. By the way, Sparrow was acquired by Google today. Just a little bit of information for you. Anyhow, so what my plan is to have each one of these in their own cell, and each cell is going to have a slight gradient going on here. And then for these images right here, it's going to be a little thumbnail of the Pixel for Life video, and then that's going to be with the rounded corner, and then just the sample title and all that. Not really too sure about the text yet. Maybe I'll just keep this for now, and then we'll play with fonts later or something. I'm not really sure what the limitations of fonts are for ISO applications, so I'll probably just keep it simple with like Helvetica or something like that. Anyhow, let's just get started on here. So we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cells. Hopefully we space those correctly. If not, that's going to be a little difficult, but we'll get through it. So what I want to do is just quickly group this over here on the right side, and I'm going to name this bottom menu. Okay, and then I'm going to create a new layer, and then for this I'm just going to do one cell at a time. Just going to do this one part, and then I will duplicate it. Alright, so I'm going to make it out of a vector rectangle, and let's see, I'm going to put my grids back on, and I'm just going to draw out one. We'll start in the center right here. Just going to draw it out and have it snap into place. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a slight gradient to it. Make the color a very slight gray, like that. And then when we go to, okay, it didn't work out. Hold on. Take off a color, click OK, double click this, and make this one very slight gray. Alright, and now we can double click and go to the layer styles, and I'm going to add a gradient, and I'm going to change this to multiply, and then scale is going to be 150. Lower that opacity way down to like 5%. Let's see what that looks like. Just very slight. You can see it there. And then I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click Control H to get rid of that stupid stroke that keeps going around vector objects. Double click here. Go to Drop Shadow. And then with an angle of 90, distance of 1, size of 0, it's going to create just a little line right here. Going to change this to normal, bring up the opacity. So all I'm doing right here is adding a little stroke going on at the bottom right there. And then I'm going to change that color to just a dark gray. Maybe something like this. We'll see what that looks like once I duplicate over. And then this template I can, let's see. I'm going to keep the template, going to lower the opacity of that though. No, I want to keep that. What am I doing wrong? Center content. Let's just hide center content. Then go to Sean's, and we're going to hide the keyboard. Okay, that's better. And background. Okay, let's hide this background. I'm going to actually double click it. Keep the stroke on there. Going to make it kind of a dark gray, and then I'm going to click OK, and then remove the fill on that. Alright, so then all that's in the center here is going to be what we're creating. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to name this cell 1. Okay, and then I'm going to drag it to the top, let it snap into place, hold on Alt and Shift and drag it down, and then I'm just use the arrow keys, and I'm just going to bring it down just so there's a little space. If I zoom in, you'll see that there's a 1 pixel white space right there, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And you can see it kind of has a nice crisp line there. So I want to double click this, or actually let me delete this, double click this real quick, do the drop shadow and make it just a little bit lighter, click OK, and then I'm going to right click it and go to Convert to Smart Object. That way we can duplicate it, and if we have to we can change one and it's not going to mess up the whole thing. So now I can go ahead and duplicate this, bring it down, and I'm going to zoom in and make sure there's that 1 pixel spot right there, and there is. I'm just going to scale both of these over. Just 1 little pixel over right there. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate it again. That's 3. And then number 4 right there. And then I'm going to put bottom menu all the way at the top. Bam. Okay, so that is pretty much it right there. I'm going to zoom out, and that's looking pretty. Zoom in at 100%. Wonderful, wonderful. Alright, so now let's combine these just into a layer, and we'll call this center. That's what I get for trying to type one-handed. And let's see, I want to bring the template here, center template, we'll turn back on and lower this opacity. And I'm going to create a new layer above the center box, and I'm going to grab my rounded rectangle tool. 8 pixels should probably be fine. And I'm just going to hold down shift, click, and drag out here. And I'm going to read those numbers on the side. When I make this right here, I'm going to make it 140 pixels right there. So it's 140 by 140 exactly. Or if you're in CSX, you can just click and go 140 by 140. Click OK. And it makes it for you. Perfect. And I'm just going to center it up inside of here. And then I'm going to double click it. Do a Control H to get rid of that stupid stroke. Double click, and actually let's bring up this opacity of the center. Now double click and do a drop shadow, a distance of 1 pixel. Bring the size up maybe to about 50%, and then the spread to 50% and size down to 1. So it's kind of like a soft line going on there. Change this back to normal. And then I'm going to change this opacity to white. Okay. And then I'm going to do inner shadow at the top right there. And I'm going to bring the distance down, just something like that. Maybe bring down the size, pick up the spread, 40%, bring down that size, lower the opacity. Looking good, looking good. And that's just going to be the base of our just where our thumbnail is going to be at. So it doesn't really matter what color is in there. I'm just going to do a dark gray just to show that's going to be an image. Alright. And you know, it kind of looked nicer in white. I'm just keep it white for now because it's cool to look at. Cool. So now we have that. I can bring down the opacity for our center again. And I'm going to just create some of this sample text. So to do that, I'm just going to go down to template, center content, pod 1. I'm going to grab the sample text, alt, and click it, bring it to the top. I can hide that template, or else, yeah, whatever. And then, where is this at? I'm going to click and drag it up. Okay. And then I'm going to double click this, do a drop shadow, distance of 1, size of 0, make it white. Click OK, bring up the opacity, and change this to normal. And it's just very slight, something subtle. I don't know. Maybe we'll change it later. Just gonna keep it like that for now. Gonna change this sample title text. Gonna change the color to 444, 444, and then this one, I'm make this one a little bit lighter. Okay. Gonna zoom out to 100%. Looks good. Looks good. Gonna center it a little bit better, and this text is kind of hugging that edge a little bit, so I'm gonna bring that down. Like that. And maybe we'll line it up with the top of that thumbnail. So I'm going to just quickly drag out a guide like that, and I'm going to bring up the sample text. Cool deal. Very nice. And then there was one other thing I wanted to do. Maybe we'll do like a star rating at the bottom here, just so you can kind of see how many stars that our video has. Or actually, YouTube doesn't use stars. Maybe we'll do thumbs up. Alright, so I'm going to just I'm just going to click on this over here, icon finder, and I'm going to click thumb up, click search, and let's just grab a quick thumbs up over here. We'll probably be changing it later. So I'm just gonna grab anything. Let's just go with, let's click this one right here. Nice. Download PNG, save it, go back, click this one, download PNG. Alright, and then I'm going to just drag those two files right into here, click OK, and that's good. Gonna keep that one there, this one here, select them both, and I'm just gonna arrange it so they're both on the bottom. Gonna zoom in, and for the thumbs down, I'm gonna slide it over, and then I'm gonna create a new layer, and I'm gonna write 41, and just make this color just a little bit darker, and then lower the size down to maybe 20 pixels. Just bring it over here. Then I'm gonna duplicate that, and maybe we'll go with 0.2 because I think we only got 2 thumbs down. We do pretty well. Okay, and then I'm just going to rearrange these. Command and semicolon should bring up our grids, or actually got to Command H to unhide it. Why are they not showing up? There we go. And I'm just going to create a quick grid, another line right over here. Maybe like that. And then I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm going to put the thumbs down all the way to the right, and the thumbs up I'm going to scoot over just a little bit like that. That way it's a little more fun to look at like that. We'll probably end up changing this later, but for now it looks alright. So I'm going to keep that, and let's name this down and up. Cool. And then I'm going to group this together, and I'm going to name it pod 1. And then I'm going to right click it and convert to smart object. That way this is going to be a smart object too. And I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift, or actually let's see, bring it into here. Alt and duplicate it. Then I'll hold down Shift and bring it down. Center that in there. Alt and duplicate it. Shift, bring it down. And let's do the same again. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Alright, so one thing that I want to do is just do a quick, I talked about it before, where when you swipe on here, it's going to slide it over, and we'll have some more options in here. Oh, I messed something up. So I'm just going to quickly just do the background for that. So what I'm going to do is do it on this pod right here. What was that one? So what I'm going to do is just double click this and drag that cell layer out. I can close this up. And then I'm going to take this cell and I'm just going to center it over where that was. That way we can edit this without it changing all of them. Alright, so we got that, and let's see if I hide it. Nothing should change. Okay, so I'm going to delete this right here. Delete that smart object, so we're left with this. And I'm going to change this cell color to maybe like a dark orange. Let's go with the dark blue. That looks better. Gonna click OK. Double click on here. Change this gradient to overlay. Bring up the opacity and do reverse. Click OK. And our center opacity is down, so it's looking a little funky. That looks better. So we'll get rid of this text right here. Just gonna delete that. Gonna keep this, and we can probably lighten up that color a little bit now that the opacity is down. Something like that. The colors might change later on. I'm just going to do this for now. Maybe we'll go with a dark gray. Nah, I like the color. So I'm going to keep it that blue. The gradient, we're going to bring down the opacity just like this. Do an inner shadow. And let's do distance of 0. Bring up the size. And the choke. And then lower the opacity. Just so you can kind of see if there's some depth there. Then one thing that I want to do is create just a little bar here, just to add some more color to it. So I'm going to create another rectangle. Start from here, click and drag. And then I'm going to change that color to orange, and it's going to be the same orange we used down here. Click, alrighty. Zoom in, and I'm going to add a drop shadow, but this time it's going to be a distance of 180. So it's coming from left to right. Size is going to bring that down. Bring up the spread. Bring down the distance. And then lower the opacity way down. Click OK. And then I'm going to add a 1 pixel stroke. I'm going to come over here and draw a line. Let's zoom in. And I'm going to draw it from top to bottom. Make sure it's the full size, like this. And I'm going to make that white. Click OK. Slide it over just so it's 1 pixel from the edge, or maybe right on the edge. Let's try lowering the opacity. Command H to hide that stroke that goes around there. And there we go. It's just a little something. Maybe we can add a pattern to it. I don't know. Let's just click on pattern. Maybe some horizontal lines. And change it to overlay. Lower the opacity. I don't know, just doing something. I'll probably mess with it some more later. And we could probably lower the stroke color just a little bit, maybe to 30%. Just a little something. And then we're gonna have some icons in here for sharing and rating and whatnot. But that's good for now. So let's just do one last thing, and that is a quick line going down from here, just spacing the icon from the text. Let's see what that would look like. I'm gonna click up here. Create a new layer. I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to draw out a line starting from the top and going down. Let's zoom in. Looks like it's a little bit too short, so just Command T and drag it up. Perfect. Alright, so now I'm going to change this color to a dark gray, slightly darker than that, and then Alt and click to the right, and then I'm going to change this to white. Click OK, and let's see what that looks like. Cool, looks perfect to me. So I'm going to group this together, and I'm going to convert it to Smart Object. I'm going to name this Vert for vertical and spacer. And then I'm going to zoom in, Alt and Shift, and bring it down. And then I'm going to duplicate it again, Alt and Shift, and bring it down to here. Cool. And now that's looking good. The only thing I want to change is this text right here. So to do that, I have to double click on this pod 1, click on this text, and I'm just going to drag it over just a few pixels. Click the check mark, and then click Save. And that's looking good. Close this up. And let's grab all of these spacers and let's bring it over just a little bit like that. Cool. Zoom in 100%, maybe to the left just slightly. And I think that looks great. That's going to finish off this part of the tutorial. I'm going to zoom out and you can see what we're talking about here. It's looking pretty to me. Next time we're going to be working on this, the top part that we have planned out. And then maybe we'll start working on some icons because it really needs them. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you can see when the next video comes out. See you next time.